We are, yeah, we were in a joke, so we're, yeah, it was funny. Remember when nothing worked?
That's the end of our show.
That's painful.
Hello again to another Standout. This is episode 4, coming from Woodland Lakes Christian Camp, and I don't know how much more of this we can take.
Yeah.
This is 6:21, and we should have started 20 minutes ago. It's just getting harder and harder because there's no way to connect. There's not, like, everything that we're doing for this requires steady, reliable internet. And steady, reliable internet is not something that you worry about at a camp. Like, that's not, if the internet goes down, it's like, oh, well, we have Jesus. We don't need the internet. We've got fire. What else do we need? It's camp.
Well, we have Jesus, but we don't have a fire.
Right, we can start a fire.
we have a fireplace back
We do
back
have
on
a
that wall.
fireplace. You can't see it now because of the wheel, but
We have
it is
Owen.
back there. And we do have Owen.
Yeah, go Owen.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
So we have a new person with us today. Hello, Riley. Good to see. Small golf clap for Riley.
Hello. Baby shark.
Good to see Riley coming the farthest distance away now. She's the farthest distance traveled.
You're not getting paid.
But I'm the one that's traveling the distance.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you
You gotta
put
take
in
her
more
home.
to get
Yeah.
her. And, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're really doing the
Uber.
extra effort there.
He's the Uber
He's
driver.
the free Uber.
Uber in the making.
She pays him in hugs, I'm sure. Okay, so speaking of hugs, we are talking about mushy stuff today.
Ooh.
This is all about 1 Peter 3, 1-7, which, since I don't have Discord working right? It did go away, right? It didn't connect.
Yeah,
Right?
it just stopped.
I still have it on here though, so we can read. I have the parallel, so you can see the message on the right side, and you can see the NIV on the left side. People watching on Discord will only see the New International Version because this is something different. But so let's start reading. The first section is the first 6 verses, and then the last section, the second half, will be just verse 7. So who would like to read? Let's do first 1-3. Who wants to read 1-3? Nora wants to read 1-3.
Which one?
On the left side, 1 Peter 3, 1-3.
Wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe in the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives. That when they see purity and reverence of your lives, your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes.
Okay, so how much of that is still appropriate today?
All?
All. We have a vote for all.
None.
I'm hearing a lot of clicking from the conference call.
Click.
You might want to mute your phone until there's something to say on that end. Everybody say hi to Abby, by the way. She's listening in. Abby and
Hi, Abby. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Abby.
So,
okay, now mute it.
Get muted.
We'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, so you're saying that this is all still the same way it is now? Do wives submit to their husbands now? Are we
No.
encouraged to do that?
No.
That's definitely not
Equal
what is
rights.
encouraged anymore.
No, it's not.
Equal rights nowadays.
And we have a lot of drinking going on. This is something we don't want to discuss. Let's just drink our way through it.
Drink your arms away.
I mean, I don't think our modern day society would say that wives should submit to their husbands, but also you don't have to take that in a literal way, I guess. Because, like, trying to think of how I want to word this. It's a negotiation between the husband and the wife, you know,
Right.
where the wife gives in to the husband's
Right.
want some, and
I got
the
you.
husband gives in.
Hold on to that, because that will tie in very well with the whole thing in general.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, you can leave now
One
if you
step
wanted to.
ahead.
That's the whole lesson. No, we're definitely not encouraged to do that. And in fact, I mean, if you guys have been watching the news, we've been watching this whole congressional hearing thing, which is totally against this concept in some ways. I mean, not specifically like, you know, we have a woman who's making claims against a man, and the man's saying, no, this didn't happen. And there's a huge defense for, you know, let's stand up and make sure that this woman's voice is heard, because the women should always be able to do this or that, whatever. And so it's part of this movement of let's make sure that the women are capable and able to speak up and do all these things, and absolutely they should speak up. But like, this is in a world of women didn't say a word, you know, and like, can we find a balance between, no, keep them covered, don't let anything but their eyes be shown, and don't say anything in public, to absolutely everything's the same and nobody should feel any different about anything, and we're all one person and we shouldn't have genders and pronouns, and can there be a balance in that negotiation, I think, is the real question.
Talk about all the different genders in our modern day society. Let's just no gender.
That's where it's
That's kind
that's
of
where
where
it's
it's
going.
going. It's like, yeah, there's no he or she.
And
It's just they.
This is our second week in a row talking about submission stuff, but this one goes a little more involved.
Can we get a refresher on last week's?
Last week was about ruling authorities, and we listened and dissected We're Not Gonna Take It.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
take it.
Okay. And since this is something that's going to lead to a lot of awkward silences, Nora, why don't you go ahead and spin the wheel for us to get us off and rolling on the wheel?
Get us
So
started.
far, we're 3 for 3 on hitting push the button very first. So let's see if that continues.
Let's spin.
I have a feeling that it's not gonna land on it.
Oh, it better, because it's rigged.
It's not gonna land on it.
Come on, come on, come on, come
Oh,
on,
boy.
come on,
Yes.
come on.
Oh, dang it.
That was so close to
Oh,
happening.
yay.
Yeah, go ahead. This was
Close enough.
this was Bobby's recording from last week. He didn't let us hear it, so we get to enjoy it.
I hope.
flip about
I
it?
hope.
I don't know.
I thought it was
Did
in the
get
middle.
flipped?
I guess it's not. Just go ahead and push it.
I hope.
We turned.
I really hope that like no one recorded over it or whatever it is. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it-
Yeah, the battery's got
The battery's gonna be flipped.
Better spin
There's-
the wheel again while we're.
There's no on and off switch, so we just flip a battery.
Yeah, we don't
the
want the
wrong way,
button to
so
get
it doesn't.
activated. Yeah, spin her again while we're waiting.
It's a way to keep the batteries in there, but then
It already is flipped the wrong way.
Oh no! Wait, what?
one of them's flipped
Oh, one of them flipped the wrong way.
Well, that's confusing.
like this.
State of mind.
All of our
does that mean?
technologies.
That's what
Texas.
we talk about
Right.
a state. Texas, it is. The Houston Texans won today.
Who'd they play?
They played the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know why I was watching that. I shouldn't have been, but
Because it came on after
yeah, I
the
guess it came
Bengals.
on after the Bengals game, and I watched the last.
The
10
Bengals
minutes of it.
lose?
They
No,
won
they
actually.
won.
In the last 6 seconds,
Yeah.
they won.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Did
Okay.
the Patriots win?
Yes, I believe so. This is stuff that I shouldn't even know because I don't follow sports at all.
Well, I do, but I've been
Yeah.
busy and I didn't get a chance.
Hey.
All right, here's the button.
It's me, Peter Parker, your friendly neighborhood, I've come a long way from being a boy who was bit by a spider. Back then, nothing seemed to go right for me. Now, wow, look, it's Spider-Man. People really like me. Hey, stick around. It's gonna start again in a few minutes.
Was that like almost an exact quote?
That was a Peter Parker thing. I'm totally shocked that he would do that.
Your friendly neighborhood
Guy.
Spider-Man? He's a guy.
Maybe,
I don't know.
He said Spider-Man.
All right.
Spider-Man.
I'm
tell
sure
me,
that will
like-
come
he,
back
like,
up again.
paused.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Wonder how
let's-
we're gonna work that in.
Well, we need to say a little bit more about Texas real quick. Come back over to your wheel.
Don't mess with Texas. You know,
Yeah, you don't
the
really wanna mess
SpongeBob
with Texas.
episode, that was one of my favorites. Messing with Texas.
Have you been
Which-
to Texas?
There's so many Texas
I
episodes.
haven't. I don't know.
Riley, have you been to Texas?
No.
There's so many Texas Spider episodes. Which one was it?
What?
Like what happened?
Our
It's
children
where-
haven't. We've been to Texas twice.
wanna go
but they
home
haven't been.
and-
Oh, with the song?
There's
Yeah, but they're messing with
person
Texas, and he like turns.
Yeah.
Hey, what am I? Stupid?
Yeah.
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
Texas?
We just offended a lot of people. There are some
Many.
weird.
Sorry,
There are
just
some.
go.
There are some weird laws in Texas. Like one.
We've been there twice.
Just the airport.
Oh, did we flew into Dallas? And
We've been through DFW.
Do you
twice.
count
We
the-
went to
just
medieval
going to the airport?
times the first time, so we actually did stuff in Texas.
Is it like the same rule as you did for the counties, where you have to stop and do something in the
Well, I
county
mean,
for it to
like
count?
we don't count layovers. Like if you just stopped in a plane and then took off again, that doesn't count. But
about 5 times.
if you got out and walked around and got to do stuff in the state, even if it's just a tiny bit, that counts.
Yeah, with Texas, they have some weird laws. Like one of them is, you're only allowed to take 3 sips of beer while standing up, and then you have to sit down.
What?
Why do you know
How
that?
do you? Because he's
YouTube,
been
that's how.
he's been drinking beer in Texas.
So it raised a lot of questions, like what could happen. And there's also a rule that in this scenario, say you're driving your truck, you're going 45, and you and your 13-year-old child behind you are not wearing seatbelts. The cop pulls you over and fines you $30 for you and then $100 for the kid. And then you go around to the police officer goes to the back of the truck and finds 5 children under the age of 12 in the back and just smiles and waves and walks away. Because it's not okay for children 13 and over it's not okay for anyone to be in a car without a seatbelt going 45. But you can go 45 with ages 12 and under in the back of your truck.
In the bed of the truck.
In the bed of the truck, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of laws are weird about the bed of the truck, but
Yeah.
some states, if they have a lot of people in beds of trucks, they don't want to push a law for it.
Is Houston now the most populous Texas city?
I think so.
I know it didn't used to be, but I think it's like
Yeah.
one of the fastest growing cities
it's
in the
totally,
U.S.
yeah. Austin's getting big too. I think Texas has the most cities over like a certain like whatever caps they put on population stuff. Like Texas has the most big cities.
Big cities. I'm
Also
sure
has the
California's
fattest city
second.
too, I think.
I'm just gonna say I'm glad you weren't here last time because I was my turn to record the button and it was awful.
Oh, what did you?
I did some awful Brooklyn accent that probably offended a bunch of
It
people.
was long. It was very long.
Yeah. Well, so was that one.
Yeah, but that one made
Oh wait,
sense.
do
So.
it
It was
again.
Bobby.
Do the
Yeah.
voices, please.
No.
No.
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, we spent
Enough
too long
about
in
Texas.
Yeah.
So now we need 4, 5, and 6 read, please.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. For this is the way the holy women of the past who put their hope in God used to adorn themselves. They submitted themselves to their own husbands, like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord. You are her daughters, and if you do what is right and do not give way to fear.
There's absolutely room for men and women both to have place to speak and to have authority and power in the world. And there's a way for this to happen too, I think. We're so obsessed now with everything has to be so just equal across everything, when in reality, especially from the Bible's perspective, we have like beauty in the genders, like that men have things that make them men and that makes them great, and that women have things that make them women and that makes them great. And Peter is definitely promoting that. He's telling them, be like Sarah and do the things the way Sarah did, and you'll be looked at like daughters in God's eyes, like that you'll be doing a great service to your family by doing that, instead of being like up here at the top with the elaborate hairstyles.
What do you think of when you say elaborate hairstyle?
I think of a carnival wig.
Cornrows.
Red hair.
Yeah, a little bit of what she's got going on there and adornments as such.
You don't think of big hair bands?
I think of things clipped in it first. I like it, just like a lot of like just stuff, little things stuck in here and there and everywhere.
I just think of colored hair.
Well, I mean, like Do the Egyptian women wear lots of adornments in their hair?
The Egyptians didn't like hair. They thought that hair was gross.
Even the women?
I don't know. I mean,
Didn't the pharaohs
probably
shave their hair?
probably like on their bodies they wouldn't want it. On their heads probably okay.
Yeah.
And it probably had to be all very like slick and ornate. But there's a lot of covering too. Like they wore a lot of things to cover their head. So I don't know what you would even
In the
know.
desert.
Yeah.
That would have been hot.
Would have had a lot of sandy blonde hair.
Yeah, you might want to spin the wheel again.
I might need to spin the wheel again. So let's talk about submission, shall we? Can we talk about submission?
Sure.
Since we're not sports people, how appropriate would it be for us to do stuff about pro wrestling? So this is what I think
You're into
of
pro
when I think of,
wrestling. Said you were into pro wrestling, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because that's
For
the
sure.
that's the whole kayfabe
Not
thing.
doing
Yes.
it.
I remember that.
Not wrestling myself, but filming. I would have been one of the people behind the ropes here.
Okay.
So I think of submission like this. I think of pro wrestling immediately when I think of submission, and it works to talk about this and to talk about marriage, as you'll see by the end. It is in fact a negotiation. Spoiler. But this is a body slam.
They look like yin yang.
Kinda, yeah. It's a yin yang sort of thing.
Look at it the right way.
The body slam is a move designed to slam a body,
Wow,
if that makes sense.
No.
that was a pretty good description.
Yeah, and you pick your opponent up and you drop them on their back on the mat, and the objective is to knock the wind out of them. Much like almost every other move you do where you pick them up and smash them to the mat, you're trying to knock the wind out of them.
They just come with different names.
And yeah, totally. It's just 1,000 different ways to do a body slam. They're all the same kind of thing. But this is a move that involves a great deal of power. It's looked at as a symbol of you're strong if you can lift your opponent up and body slam them. In WrestleMania 3, I think it was, they made a really big deal about Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant. Like nobody had ever lifted Andre the Giant up before. But you picked them up. Yeah, do you know who those
Heard
people
of
are?
Hulk Hogan.
Wow,
I
this
know
is
who
going to
Hulk,
be
I
really
know who
fun.
Hulk Hogan is.
So this is a body slam.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Yeah. He was a giant.
Yeah.
Truly was.
Do you think that you could body slam anybody in this room?
Yes. I
Yeah,
I body slam her a
Yeah, let's
lot.
pick on Nora.
Yeah.
she's pretty light.
I could body slam her. I could almost body slam Owen. I would try to body slam Leslie, but her shoulder's
You
so
could
messed
body
up.
slam me.
No,
Come
I
on.
really
I could body slam you.
I might be
Yeah.
a little bit or close to your height,
Right.
but I'm pretty light.
Well, as we will see later, anybody in this room can body slam anybody, unless they have shoulder problems.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
But
Who
that's a
has
body
shoulder
slam.
problems. Oh.
Next wrestling move is the headlock. That's a headlock. You see his head; it's being locked. Not the guy with the face. Like
He's got
oh,
a pretty
he's kinda-
chiseled face.
yeah, he's kind of locked in a hold himself with his face. But the headlock is applied to this guy, and the objective of this is to lock their head.
You know, it looks
Just-
like they're fighting in an art museum.
It does. It appears to be some sort of comic book gallery or something. And I think these were just like stock photos that were taken because they were called like high res something or other. Like they were just trying to show pretty pictures of
Right.
wrestling holds. I guess I don't know.
It looks very light.
At least there's-
Yeah, like
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a real ringside thing.
And check out his boots.
And that's a pretty normal outfit. I mean, it's
So
ridiculous in a way, but they don't all wear elbow pads like that guy. But that's pretty common.
He just wants to be safe.
Really tall laced up boots. Those boots look really tough, but they're basically like Converse All-Stars. Like they're so flat on the bottom. Like there's no real like beefed up sole on them. They're very flat. They're just supposed to look like boots to make the man look tougher, because this is about showing dominance and being powerful and controlling your opponent by not allowing them to breathe or move their head,
Making them submit.
And making them die.
making them submit. If you
Hopefully
put
no
your
one's
person,
dying.
if you put your opponent in a headlock, you're keeping them from being able to really utilize any of their other body parts. You could probably do a headlock on everybody in this room, but it would be hard to get them into a headlock because they would squirm their way out of it most of the time.
You can get my sister into a
Hmm?
headlock.
We're really not from the time that we officially started, but
Okay.
Welcome to Big Acronym, where we teach you to fight your friends.
yeah, please fight your friends. And then the third one, this is the elbow drop. This was from the top rope. That's Shawn Michaels jumping from the top rope. That's my favorite wrestler of all time. Not just because I have the same first and middle name as he does, first and last name, but he's really, really good. So you jump from the top rope, and you have to be wearing red pants to do this. That's very important. You can't do it without red pants. And you drop your elbow down on your opponent. And the objective of the flying elbow drop is to fly and drop your elbow.
And pierce the heart.
And knock the wind out of your opponent.
I mean, it kind of looks like he's just laying there staring like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Like, why don't you just roll
I'm sure
out of
he's
the way?
just preparing to
Yeah.
make sure he lays the right way to take the hit.
Yeah,
He
totally.
but he could just roll to the side.
But
He
this
really could, but he's been stunned by a body slam, had the wind knocked out of him, so that he can't really move. He's immobilized from the body slam usually. Usually you body slam them to put them into position so that you can go to the top rope. Okay, so wrestling is fake.
yeah, but say remember, this is all fake.
This is fake. You have to remember that. Abby, if you're still listening, have you ever done a flying elbow drop on any of your siblings? I think she quit on us.
No, I have not.
Have you ever done a headlock on any of your siblings?
I don't remember.
That's her way of getting out of answering that question.
Yeah, I would picture
Ask
her,
again later.
I would picture her being the fighter of the four. Maybe Caleb.
Well, my sister and I, we would fight. We would get
Which
on
sister?
corners of the
Oh yeah.
Which
of the
sister?
bed, and then we would.
Abby, who's the fighter in your family?
I think.
What? You asked if I was in our family?
Who's the fighter? Who's the dominant fighter?
Who's asserts their dominance?
You?
Hannah stuck with her.
Okay. Well, we'll fight Hannah. We'll fight her soon and see how she does.
Riley, do you have any input on
Place
this
your
whole
bets.
fighting your siblings business?
Place your bets.
Having
Who
a
will win?
twin.
Do you have a twin?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Is
you
it
had
an
a
evil twin? Because that would make the fights way more fun.
Yes.
If,
Place your
you
bets.
You roll around
Logan
and you stand
Paul
up and you
versus
look the same,
KSI.
and like
We don't
nobody
look
knows
the
which is
same.
which, and you're like, who do I shoot? I can't tell which one I shoot.
Shoot both of them.
And
So
yeah,
you don't.
That's
look-
how you solve
don't
it.
look the
Shoot
same.
both.
Maternal.
yeah, that ruins the whole thing. So who wins those fights?
I do, usually. I'm
Because-
stronger than she is.
Okay, so you show dominance, not that they show too much
Assert
submissiveness.
your
You just
Well,
dominance.
Yeah.
you overpower.
Yeah.
You drop the big flying elbow drop
Yeah.
with the red pants.
Could I see that? Yeah, I could.
That'd be great. Okay, so those are your 3 wrestling moves, all of them involving showing power and dominance,
And knocking the wind out of them.
knocking the wind out of your opponent.
And kayfabe.
Well, but we won't talk about that because you don't speak of that. So, well, we could
And
get in
everything is
trouble
fake.
if we talk.
You know,
about
I was like halfway asleep during that lesson. That was like, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
It's been a while.
But I still remember you explaining
Mhm.
that concept.
Well, we'll talk about it a little more without saying the word in some detail here
Like
in the next section.
that must not be named.
Yes, just like that.
That was
But
quite a tongue twister.
this is our 3 segments of power, showing what it's like to apply submission to someone. And before we go for the break, I'm gonna give you our halfway haiku. I actually wrote this haiku. You're welcome.
Okay.
Pull up a ringside seat. A quiet partner submits. The other respects. And we'll talk about that other when we return from our break.
Why are you lying about wrestling? No one respects each other.
All right. Okay, so we'll eat our cookies and drink our Faygo, and we'll come right back.
Peace.
And we're gonna have to spin the wheel again. We haven't spun the wheel a lot.
Yay!
All right.
We already had one cookie, but
Johnny,
yeah, we-
Papa.
We used to do it with at marching band contests. We would, like, the band would. It was one of those just group cheer things that you did to
yeah.
get people excited.
A baby shark doesn't get me very excited.
Baby
Well, there's
shark.
You
Lots
start
of
out
verse.
like
It's
this,
one of those. It
and then
gets
you get
bigger
bigger,
things.
and then you get bigger,
You start
and
off
then you
like
get
this.
grandma and grandpa. Whatever.
Okay. So
Ageist.
I'm realizing too. I keep saying okay. So.
Okay,
I say
so.
okay.
Okay,
So.
so.
Okay,
So we need to
so
have
That's
a
like
little
how I say-
tally of that at the bottom.
That's
of the
like
screen.
how I say anyway.
Anyway, you
Yeah.
used to do anywho a lot.
Anywho.
And we're back.
We have to edit in the part about us talking about baby shark.
Yes.
We will. That's fine. We just talked about Baby
Bloopers,
Shark.
baby.
We talked about the Renaissance Festival and volunteering, and we ate cookies. And now we're back to spin the wheel. Go, Nora.
Yay, diabetes. Cool, there to
Go,
go.
you've never seen.
Or improvisation would be all right too.
Or-
We haven't done that yet, have we?
Or word association. We did it one time. You've never seen
Hey,
it.
how about that?
Well, the movie that I wrote down is a husband and wife related movie called She's Having a Baby. It's a John Hughes film. Anybody?
Nope, never
anybody
seen
miss
it.
that? I wouldn't expect that
I know
you
who
had.
John Hughes is, but
John Hughes did She's Having a Baby. It stars Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't he the
And-
Footloose guy?
Yes, he was the Footloose guy. This was a few years after that.
Okay.
He plays a husband who
He's
is
an idiot.
he wants to have a child with his wife, but he is not very capable of doing that without help. Like he's medically he needs help with it, and they struggle, and they finally are able to get pregnant. And it's like him writing a story. He's writing a book about what it's like to become a man and become a husband and become a father. And he quits his job to he plans to quit his job to write a book, but they need money, and he's like, nah, it's one of those you get it if you are a husband father type, but I didn't expect you to see it. This is more of a recommendation. If you have a you've never seen for me, that'll be awesome. But
The Lion King,
saw it.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good ones. So the only
Those are good ones.
Frozen.
Yeah.
The only Disney princess movie I've seen is Tangled.
Well, and you've seen
That's a
Star
good one,
Wars.
too.
Star
Yeah.
Wars is Disney.
Yeah, would
You
Leia
haven't
seen-
you
would
haven't
Leia
seen-
I'm
count?
saying things I haven't
Oh, you were
seen.
listening to things you
haven't seen
haven't seen. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you've
well-
never seen Star Wars.
No.
Yeah, would Leia count as a Disney
She does.
princess?
She's a Disney princess
But-
now.
As of Be Creative 2 years ago, I did watch Rocky because you related what we were learning to all the movies, and so I watched the first one, not like all the other ones. But
It's really well done.
We need to see the 4.
4.
That's the only
4 is the one you care about. The Russian one. Rocky 2 is the best one if you want to see victory. Rocky 1's the best story. Rocky 3 you can just skip.
I'll
right
bring
over.
in a list of common movies that most people have seen and I haven't, and you'll just be.
Well, we could do one of those Clockwork Orange things where we just tape your eyes open and put you in front of a screen and just make you
Oh.
look, and then we'll know that you've seen them.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna come back from our break here with some artwork that I'd like to share with you.
Did you make this?
I did not.
Okay.
It
A
looks
woman,
like something he would.
a woman by the name of Elise Petras did this. She does mixed media. There are 3 types of media, and by media I mean
Styles.
Yes, materials. Thank you very much. That's the word I was looking for. There are 3 different artistic materials used in constructing this picture, and I like this picture a lot. The three
Looks
materials.
like watercolor.
watercolor.
That's one.
Is it?
Blot, like ink blotting.
Ink. Is
Yeah,
the
that's
other.
it. Ink.
And the third
Is coffee.
is coffee.
Wait, really?
'Cause it says it at the top. Coffee.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
The coffee. The
Cheater.
Coffee
You
would be,
know that.
there would be stains of
study
coffee
art.
here. There's some splotches here and there. But just kind of absorb that. Tell me what you think of that.
I like it.
There's
It's-
one vote for it.
It looks like something you would draw, though.
Yeah.
Sean. We have a
Yeah.
a picture in our house that looks very similar to this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
True,
right.
Yeah. My only piece of sold artwork is in your house.
It's very simplistic.
Didn't you do that to complete a New Year's thing?
I did. Yeah.
Sell a piece of artwork.
Sell a piece of artwork for $1.
Yeah, it's
We
very
still have that dollar too.
Yep. It's taped in the closet.
it's very simplistic. Like there's nothing really too detailed.
Yeah, the buildings for sure.
Yeah,
Assuming
they
they're
just
buildings,
kinda- Because it really looks like some 3-year-old just was trying to figure paint, and this is what happened.
You think it looks like it was a child that did it? Like
No.
an
Well, I mean, the
unskilled
bottom
person?
half
The
does.
lines are too.
The bottom half
detailed.
does. And
I
the,
see.
the bottom half could look like someone just threw ink on it.
I see
Or say that-
Superman and his crystal palace. What's it called? Where he goes with all the
Oh,
eyes.
the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, Fortress.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a way, I see a lazy painter because half of the painting is empty. But could be
And-
just.
but
Still
that would-
painted.
Yeah, and that would be based on a presupposition that a good piece of art is filled in all the way. Like
Yeah,
like
well, that's what they always
something-
taught us in art class. You
that-
know,
yeah.
make sure you color in the sky.
Right,
you can't just
exactly.
leave it white. The sky has color, and
So we weren't teaching
Not if
art.
the ocean
we were
didn't
teaching
exist.
completion. You know, like that's a totally different thing.
I guess that's how they grade art.
And you can see that.
Never seen any superhero.
I'll show you. If you
I like to think the Earth was created because God went into MS Paint.
well, maybe.
Yeah, he tried drawing the sky.
Microsoft did
He's
exist
like-
that far back,
He did like the bucket. He just did the blue.
and you can see that there's no watercolor below this line.
Right.
No, someone just tossed an ink vial on
Is
it.
the bubble part, or is that the ink though? That's ink, right?
What these?
Like the bottom underneath the buildings in the bubble. The
Like the line. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
all that black part. Is that all ink? That's all that
of
is
those.
ink.
All those are splotches of ink,
Okay.
and it was most likely done on an easel or an angle so that
It ran
pieces
down.
could run.
So some of the watercoloring ran down.
Yeah, and it's a marriage of the two, so that water from the watercolor will mix with the ink and do that. And so hold that in your mind, that marriage. As we go back to talking about wrestling and marriage, let's read verse 7. Husbands, in the same way, I should read it because I'm the only husband in the room. Husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner, so you can totally drop elbows on them all the time. And as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. I know that's a little weird that there's 6 verses for the wife and 1 for the husband. But it kind of makes sense from the way that they would write, that it's like, well, it's just assumed the husband's going to know to do this, and we have to make sure that the women are
Did they seriously
Being
understanding.
said-
In
because they-
line.
yeah.
Did they seriously just say that boys are stronger than girls?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I
Yes,
mean,
they did.
biologically, that would be
Yeah.
the case, right?
Right.
Biologically, men are.
I mean,
I-
it's not.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, the word choice is a little. It makes it sound
Yeah.
more demeaning, like you're just speaking.
Makes sound sexist.
In the message version, honor them, delight in them as women. They lack some of your advantages.
Wow.
Well,
But in the new life of God's grace, you're equals.
Yay.
lack some of your advantage. Like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
more muscular. I mean, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, women can be very muscular.
They can.
Yeah.
I do, going back to the top part where, I mean, like having, I do agree that women should be, go up.
What?
I want to get the right word.
Scroll.
Having a quiet spirit.
Uh-huh.
I like the inner beauty, being gentle and having a quiet spirit. I mean, obviously not every woman feels that way.
And he says it that's what will show out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outward stuff should not do anything. That you're going to win your husband over by your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
not by the way you look. The thing that you do is what makes you stand out for your husband.
So I think that's important to me
Yeah.
as a woman, as a wife, to be.
Is
And
this-
not just to you as a husband, but as to just people you work with to have a quiet spirit and.
This is now compare verse 6 between the two translations. Like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord, versus Sarah, for instance, taking care of Abraham, would address him as my dear husband. Lord or
Well,
my
it's
dear
not
husband.
capitalized Lord. It's
Yeah, I don't agree.
lowercase l.
The Lord, yeah. I'm not gonna call you my Lord.
No, but I mean, where that's coming from is, if the wife were calling her husband Lord, it's to say, I'm respecting your authority in this matter, that you can make decisions for us as a couple, and then I will submit to the decisions. I will honor the decisions that you make.
Can we do the thing where we look at the Greek word and all the different
If we had an internet connection, yeah, we could totally.
Oh.
You want to do that on there?
Yeah, what am I looking
So you need to go to, you need to find a concordance, do a search for concordance, and then search for that scripture.
I mean, not saying that the message is the most accurate translation of the Bible, but those are, in a way, it just sticks out to me as it's kind of far apart in a way.
Yeah, my
I
dear
mean,
husband.
saying her Lord and my dear husband, they have completely different even connotations to me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, none of us ever think of the word Lord without thinking of God. We're not.
Well, God or like a slave master.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
that goes back to last week too. Right?
Yeah.
You have. Lord is a way of showing authority, showing leadership, if you will. How else would you define weaker partner?
Weaker partner.
Like, what do you think he's trying to say? Literally, what is he trying to say as weaker partner? And how else would you suggest saying that in a more modern text?
Well, I like the message, how it says, lacking some of your advantages. Like,
Do you think other people in America right now would like that?
No.
That it's
Definitely
lacking
not.
advantages? That
No.
sounds worse to me than
does
weaker
it
partner.
really?
It
I
does,
think
yeah.
it does, honestly.
It
Well,
I feel like-
okay.
I guess I was kind of like in that version looking at advantages as privileges. Because,
Well,
Yeah.
But they are the less privileged gender of the two.
well, absolutely.
less privilege. Now.
Well, I was thinking of advantages
It's-
as like from like going to science, like from
Yeah.
a scientific standpoint, women physically don't have some of the advantages as a male would. So like think of how we separate male and woman sports.
Right.
Tying it back into state of mind, in
Mhm.
Texas there was that transgender wrestler that was a boy that
Yeah.
won the state championship
Right.
as a girl like 3 years in a row.
Right.
And everybody was up in arms about
Born
that.
male.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the way to say that?
Well, that's the way to say it, to point out
Originally
that it's really
gay.
not a big deal, if you ask me. That someone is born male that says they want to be female, that it's remarkable somehow that they win I mean, they're just a wrestler. I mean, whatever. But
That I know that was a big deal for a while.
it was. But anytime that you can make news about that kind of stuff, it's going to be, for now. I mean, we're in that transitional period of this is stuff to talk about. You know, this is a thing to do.
Right.
So it makes news. But just like, we're talking about women lacking advantages. There are things that men would lack from their perspective. Like, it's how you define advantages. I mean, there
Each
are
gender
things that
has their individual advantages.
Yeah, totally.
Based on each. I mean, they were just saying on the radio, there's a study that women naturally do better on standardized testing,
Mhm.
and there's like a large percentage, like over 80%, score better than male on reading and writing tests.
Hmm.
So intellectually,
I know.
or maybe communication wise.
I think communication for sure, because of the relational nature, that, like, just in general, you would define that most women are more in tune to be relational, just by the way they're wired, that they're going to be better at communication because of that. And I don't think that there's any reason for us to say that that's a bad thing. I think
Well,
I think it's
one
good
of
to
the
say
most
that.
important things to take away from the gender debate that we have going on is just that God created us differently
Mhm.
to do different jobs and different aspects
Right.
in the kingdom and in our families, and there should be no reason to be ashamed whether you're a man or woman, because each has its benefits and
Should be
each has
celebrated.
its downfall, and we should
It should be embraced.
we should embrace our differences, but also that should help, especially in our families, bring us together, because you can pick each other up in your weaknesses.
Yeah. Totally. Did you find the concordance?
I don't. I think so, but I don't know.
So what are you at? Let me see it.
I find some technical.
Owen, are you on Discord?
Yeah.
You're saying yeah. Your phone is 5 feet away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
What are you doing?
newer national version.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the whole thing.
I don't know.
Oh wait,
I didn't know for
Strong's.
sure what I was looking for.
Strong's. Okay, wives in the same way, submit yourselves. What's the word we're looking for? Lord?
Yes.
Your mom.
Husbands in the same way be considerate.
No, darn it, I just clicked on an ad. Darn it. Ah,
Not sponsored
I
by
was
whoever you
swiping
just
too
clicked
fast
on.
and
We
I clicked
should
on an ad.
spin the wheel.
Okay, 3, is it 7? Is that where it's at?
7, yeah.
Okay. 3, 7. Husbands, in the same way, treat your wives with consideration as a delicate vessel and with honor as fellow heirs of the gracious gift of life, so that your
Oh wait,
prayers-
sorry, it's 6. It's 6.
Ah, darn it.
But I
Hunter.
like the way that it said it. Treat your wives with a delicate.
Yeah, I don't know which version this is.
You're grounded.
Just as Sarah obeyed Abraham and called him Lord. Lord is Kyrion.
Carry on.
Uh,
That's
na-
like
noun.
Kirkion in Greek.
Accusative masculine singular. Strong's Greek number 2962. If you were to look it up in Strong's Concordance, you would look up the number 2962. Other words used are Lord, Master, Sir, from Kyros, supreme in authority.
Sir.
Controller, by implication, master.
See,
So-
so master has quite the slave tone, whereas
To you.
sir.
Yeah. But that's just from your perspective on slaves and masters. And,
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, it was just authority in general.
Trouble, go sit in the corner.
Bobby just messaged in the Discord.
Yeah, that's why I needed you on that, because I can't.
Oh.
It's what.
Said that an instance where Sarah called Abraham Lord was Genesis 18:12, and she was talking to herself.
She's talking to herself.
That's what she's really, yeah, that's what she's really thinking.
And
So
stay
she
there.
like thinks about it, I guess.
Huh.
That's what it's saying on this.
So that she thinks of him that way even in private. I missed what she said. Repeat that last line. Abby, repeat the last thing you said.
It's in Genesis 18:12.
You said something else.
She's talking to herself in that, and she still calls the Lord, which implies that that's what she's really thinking. So she's really thinking, like, she's really respecting him. It's not just for, like, show or something.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's so. I did hear you right. It's like her showing integrity by calling him Lord even when she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I looked at the verse though, and in that same verse, she's laughing at what God said, so I'm not sure if that's
Oh, okay, good. So there is humor to be found in it for sure.
So this is what Bobby said. He said, I couldn't be there tonight, sadly. Anyways, I'd like to remind Lucas and Owen that I'll be seeing them this Friday at the football game.
Okay, and we're all looking forward to that. We'll be there too. All right, so let's go back to our lesson real quick. Hunter, you're out of the doghouse. Apparently, you're good now.
Well, you're
He's been
not
voted off the
No, he's
island.
good. She has no authority over you. You do not call her Lord. So, in thinking of marriage, we have submission, which reminded us of wrestling, and then we have respect. And respect reminds me of wrestling. So here's the same picture again. This is body slamming. So
He
a
just
body
puts some
slam.
respect.
This is total respect, and you'll understand this once you learn how kung works. That
What?
nothing.
Take the respect.
In any wrestling move, not only do you have the person showing dominance, but you have a person showing respect. The person showing the respect here is not the person you think. The person being body slammed is the dominant one, and the person showing respect is the one body slamming.
Yeah.
And this
doing
is
it in a manner.
Because the person that's being body slammed is actually doing all the work.
the person being body slammed lifts themselves up by pushing their hand off of the leg of the person body slamming them. We can't see it from this picture, but his right arm is down and he's pushing himself up to be held on that guy so that that guy doesn't have to really lift him into place.
Yeah.
So the person being body slammed is actually showing the dominance. The person body slamming shows respect by tucking his arm under the neck so that when he throws him down, he hooks his head underneath so that he doesn't hurt his neck when he falls. So he's actually, he pulls it here and pulls down. So when he throws him down, he pulls down so that their head is tucked under and they can land flat on their arms. He's showing respect to him in this marriage that they have by saying, I'm going to body slam you, but I'm going to make sure you're safe in doing it. And the person being body slammed says, I'm going to submit to you by letting you body slam me, but I'm also going to hold myself up by showing my own dominance, my own power.
Interesting.
And that is a marriage of the body slam. In the same way, the headlock is a lesson in communication. Because in any wrestling match, whenever someone is being put into a headlock, the person that's put them in the headlock is doing nothing. Like literally the guy, all he's doing is a duck face. Like that guy has no control over anything. In no fight ever would you allow someone to grab you around the head and hold on to it. You wouldn't do that. Like that's not a fight. I mean, seriously, if you were the guy being headlocked, would you just sit there and take that? No.
With your arms or doing.
Even
You'd be
Leslie,
kicking and
as
Poke his eyes.
the weaker vessel, could fight her way out.
I don't know.
Even with her bad shoulders, she could fight her way out of a headlock somehow.
kick somehow.
You could bite the guy in the hand if you had to.
I've done that with you.
Yes, but the headlock, in professional wrestling, the headlock is not really a matter of dominance. The person being headlocked is actually in charge. He's being headlocked so that his mouth is covered so that he can give commands about what the next few moves are going to be. The guy being headlocked is actually talking. It's communication.
What?
It's a marriage.
It's a way to be close, their heads to be close, and they can
Yes.
talk without people knowing.
Anytime you
that
see a
they're-
headlock happening in a wrestling match, the person being headlocked is the one calling the shots of the match. And he's getting his head covered so that he can talk to the other guy without people seeing it on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy being headlocked is the one showing dominance in the actual fight between them. We don't see it that way, but it's a marriage.
Wow, this thing is so interesting.
Isn't it really? It really is. And our third example, the flying elbow drop. This does no harm really at all. I mean, the guy that lands on his butt, and his elbow just happens to rest on the chest as he does it. In this actual picture, you can see it hasn't happened yet, but whenever someone jumps from the top rope, the person that has been very strategically placed on the mat by the body slam or whatever move he does to place him there, he places him exactly where he wants him so that when he jumps off the top rope, this guy on the mat can lift his shoulders up slightly. So as they're coming down, as he's on his way down, the other guy lifts up. So that by the time he reaches them, he's a little bit off the ground. So you always will see them, if you watch videos of like the old days of Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he would jump from the top rope and just like splash down on somebody. Or Macho Man Randy Savage does elbow drops a lot from the top. The opponent will always lift up a little bit because the man on the mat is actually showing respect for the guy jumping by being the cushion of his fall. So he's going to land on his butt, which on that kind of a mat, it bounces, it doesn't really hurt you a whole lot. But also, so that he doesn't hurt anything when he falls, the other guy lifts up so that they can come back down together. I just smacked the microphone, that's not going to sound good. They can come back down together on the mat, and the guy on the mat absorbs the fall of the other guy. So they fall together, they're in it together, and neither one of them gets hurt as long as they're both in the move together. So they both have to show respect for the other one by landing a certain way and doing what they need to do to catch it. Anytime you see a guy jump, they do it all the time, where like they'll climb over the top and then jump out of the ring to somebody that's just standing on down below. The people who are standing below are actually catching them. Like their job is to act stunned and to be like out of it, but then also be aware of where they're at and know that they're getting ready to jump. So now I need to look up and now I need to fall as they're coming down on me. So like it looks like you're being attacked, but you're actually catching them and you're falling together. It's all about falling together.
You're completely exposed in wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, good thing only 5 people watch this.
Good thing you're gonna get sued.
And it's not really exposed. I mean, people in wrestling admit that it's fake now. Like they admit that it's a dance. It's a marriage.
It's entertainment.
It is sports entertainment. They had to admit that in a jury because it was a lawsuit. And they're like about some sort of laws and of sport rules. I don't know. They had to admit that it was sports entertainment, and they're showing that they're able to do this dance together and that it can still be entertaining. That it looks like a move because they're doing it the right way. So this is totally a marriage.
So you can see all these pictures, right, Abby?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
She should. She's in Discord.
Okay.
So all 3 of them are signs of submission, and all 3 of them are signs of respect. That, just like Hunter said at the beginning of the spoiler, the entire thing is a negotiation. That from a biblical perspective, and I think you'll all agree on this, no matter where we stand on this whole, like, how much should a woman, whatever, how much should a man, whatever, from a biblical perspective, submission from one requires respect from the other, and then that same respect requires submission from the other. Like, you can't have this one without this one. Right? Like, to be real biblical submission, a wife is not going to submit to a husband that's not respecting her first. And a husband is not going to respect a wife who's not willing to be respected and be submissive. That if they're doing it biblically, they can do it in such a way that they have this dance. They have this kind of fight where it's like you struggle through things, but you fall together and you fight together. And while it may look like one of you is being more dominant, you're only appearing more dominant because the other one's allowing you to have that at the time.
You need a big spoiler alert on this episode.
I should put one in at the beginning.
Yeah.
Wrestling
and
is
then
fake.
one, and then one when I
It's a
start
negotiation.
talking early on because I just completely spoil the whole.
It's okay. I mean, most people only watch for 2 minutes anyway, so
Spoiler alert, this whole
we'll just get out of the way for them.
Spoiler alert, this whole podcast was a dream.
You want to spin again? Is that what you're? Okay, go ahead. I got so many things that we haven't gotten to from. Okay.
So tired. I did only get like 5 hours sleep this night.
Compliment. Okay, well, Riley's the new one here, so we all need to compliment Riley.
I love your outfit.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's
Her hair is
cute.
it's shimmering in this light. Like it's like there's like little highlights all over it. It's kind of cool.
It looks really red.
There's a lot of red coming out. Yeah.
Thank you for
Good
Matches
job on
everything on
painting
tape.
It
your
complements your
nails.
face that is turning really, really red right now.
And she's been super quiet,
Yeah.
which
I
for a
really love your
podcast
hair
is
as well.
sometimes awkward, but you've done it well.
Thank you for replacing Bobby/Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a
You're
good job
both
on
of them
painting your
combined, and
nails.
you're nailing it.
Right.
Cool shoes.
Can you even see her shoes from there?
Yeah.
Nora's good at
Let's see your
guessing.
shoes now.
I'm
yeah,
gonna,
those are cool
I'm gonna go
shoes.
back to this picture real quick.
You ready for that?
So, this picture is a marriage of 3 medias that won't work unless they're together. Like it wouldn't, if you didn't have the color in this, it would be a totally different picture. Agreed?
Yeah.
And if you didn't have the ink, like even just like, maybe you had like the shapes for the buildings, but you didn't have the contrast at the bottom and the dripping at the bottom, and like the emotion of this picture would be totally different without all 3 of those things together. Right?
Yeah.
That this picture is a negotiation that one thing wouldn't have worked with the other and the other thing wouldn't have worked with, they work together. It's like, in order to tell this exact story, to say this exact message, to have this exact feel in this picture, you had to have the marriage between those 2 things. That the way the water reacts with the paper, the way the ink reacts with the water, the way the color interfaces with the black contrast, all of those things make this picture exactly what it is.
What about the coffee?
And coffee.
And the coffee is just there. Coffee is always good
They're
everywhere.
really drinking coffee while they're
Yeah.
painting.
Probably just an accident.
Whoops. How we're going to?
Yeah, we'll just leave
I
it in
think that
there.
was just to give it a modern flair, to say, hey, we put some coffee in this. But, I mean, it's definitely intended to be what it is, exactly the way it is, and it wouldn't have been without those two things mixing the way they did. So, hats off to Elise Petrus for Collapsing of Dreams is the name of this picture.
Thank you for sponsoring this podcast.
Collapsing
Yeah,
of
yeah.
dreams.
I see it a little more optimistic than that. I mean, I get where the name would come from for that, but
Because cities destroyed.
and just
Everything.
it's like a crumble. Like there's like a crumble happening, but there's definitely structure to it, and like the pastels of it are not entirely negative. Like there's a little bit of like optimistic hope in the blue and the green. I mean, it's not all dreary. I don't know. That's just me, I guess. But so that's my thought on that. We did the haiku, so that's everything from there that we need to do, and the air conditioning's kicked on anyway.
Well, we
Yay.
should do the word
We
We need to do the word
Association.
association before we end.
Where
so
did we leave
we
off?
ended with grilled. It was grilled
Grilled?
cheese, but we said let's just call it grilled.
Yeah.
So we go with grilled, and Nora, you start.
How'd you get puppies
Gross.
from
I think we should end right there.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching.
puppies.
Yeah.
Grilled puppies.
Fur.
Animals.
Tiger.
Stripes.
Blue. I don't know where the blue came from, but
You looked at Nora's shirt.
blue stripes. There was blue stripes in there somewhere. So
Nora's shirt. It's right across.
maybe
from
it's not stripy though. It's
Yeah.
splotchy. It looks like ink and watercolor mixed together.
Oh,
All right.
A
So it will be
let's
blue
dump
for
some
next
coffee
week.
on there.
And special shout out to Abby
We didn't
listening
even
in.
land on.
and Hannah.
Yay!
And Hannah.
We didn't
I
even
keep
land on
forgetting
shout out though.
That's all right. And
Shout out.
to Bobby on Discord.
Yeah, for being
And-
weird.
Thanks for
Thank-
your message, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
We have a conspiracy
Yeah.
theory that it's you.
We suspect.
Plot twist. He's Batman.
It could be. Could be both.
Wow.
Web spinning
Busy guy.
Crusader. So we will return again next week, and we hope you join us. Make sure you subscribe and
Subscribe.
follow
to
along on everything, and watch us on everything, and like us on everything.
Follow
and,
everyone on every social
And we
media.
will show the same respect for you by liking your stuff and following your stuff.
It didn't work.
Okay. Well, we'll keep trying on that.
Okay.
Anybody else need to say anything else?
I'm all good.
Okay.
Don't trust Peter Parker and wear your seatbelt.
Thanks.
Don't mess
All right.
with Texas.
Yeah.
Don't ever mess with Texas.
And remember, make sure that you sit down after taking 3 sips of beer.
I was thinking, remember, we'll save you a
A lot of money on roofing,
Okay.
Siding
siding,
and windows.
We're out.
And
Goodbye.
got
Run my hair.